Welcome to Daily Editorial Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy Civilspedia team. Today's date is August 7, 2024. And I am Bharati Ilangovan to discuss two exclusive editorial from newspaper The Hindu and the Indian Express. At the end of today's video, we are going to have a mains practice question. You can write the answers and post it in the comments. We'll review for you. Without further delay, let's get into today's discussion. So this article, UP's stringent anti-conversion law, is given in the newspaper The Hindu, page 10. So let's understand why it is in the news first. Recently, the Uttar Pradesh Assembly has approved the Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religion Amendment Bill 2024. So this bill introduces a maximum penalty of life imprisonment for individual convicted of special offences related to the forced religious conversions. So now let's see what is this law about. According to this law, a maximum punishment of life imprisonment is given for the offenders convicted of the forced religious conversions. This law also applies to the minors, women, SC and ST. In case of mass conversions, imprisonment of about 3 to 10 years is given to the offenders and also a fine of 50,000 is imposed. Marriages are declared null and void if the sole intention of the marriage was religious conversion. A mandatory prior permission from the district magistrate is required for the religious conversions, and the individual must declare their intention to convert 60 days in advance. Organizations involved in forced conversions face deregistration as well as fines. There are courts to provide protection to the victim as well as their families. All offences under this act are declared cognizable. The term cognizable means they can arrest without a warrant, and these are also declared as non-bailable offences. The investigation has to be completed within a period of 60 days. This bill also allows any person to file a FIR. It does not say only parents, victims and siblings should file the case. Anyone can file the cases in case of forced conversion. These cases would not be heard by any court below the Sessions Court. So these are the provisions of this act. Now let's see if there are any similar laws in other states. So Odisha is the first to enact legislations regulating the religious conversions. Following this, many states have introduced the anti-conversion laws, namely Madhya Pradesh, Arunachal, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Himachal, Tamil Nadu, Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. All these laws uniformly aim to prevent the forced conversions, particularly targeting vulnerable groups such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, minors and women. Now let's see what are the potential implications of this bill. It violates the main fundamental rights. For example, it restricts the individual right to convert and practice the religion of their choice under the Article 25, which declares freedom of religion to every citizen of India. It also violates the Article 21 right to life and personal liberty. Excessive penalties and surveillance may violate their personal freedom and privacy. It also goes against the Article 14 right to equality. This law discriminates against the vulnerable groups such as SC, ST, minors and women. Let's see what are the other concerns regarding to this law. This law targets the vulnerable groups mentioned above. Enhanced penalties for conversions involving SC, ST, minors and women may lead to increased surveillance and harassment of these groups, which might affect them. It also affects the interfaith marriages. The bill provisions may be used to scrutinize and invalidate the interfaith marriages, which can potentially lead to social unrest. Thirdly, it also polarizes community. The bill might increase religious tension and create a mistrust. The bill's provision may face legal challenges, potentially leading to a prolonged judicial review process. It can also disrupt social harmony, potentially leading to communal clashes and violence. While implementing this bill, it may lead to an increased administrative burden, diverting the resources from other critical areas. So these are the potential implications of the bill. It violates the fundamental rights 25, 21, 14. And these are the other concerns regarding to this bill. Now let's discuss what are the positive implications of this anti-conversion law. First is the prevention of coercion. Coercion means forcing. Anti-conversion laws aim to protect individuals from being coerced or manipulated into changing their religion. Next is the preservation of the public order. These laws help maintain communal harmony by preventing conversions that may lead to conflicts or tensions. Next is the transparency in the conversion. Ensuring that conversions are voluntary and well informed can prevent misleading practices and protect vulnerable populations. These are the positive impacts of the anti-conversion law. Now let's see some remarkable cases with respect to this anti-conversion law. The first case is the Staines versus the state of Odisha in the year 2002. In this case, the Supreme Court struck down certain provisions of the Odisha Freedom of Religion Act 1967 as unconstitutional. It also said that forced conversions are crime, but genuine conversions are protected under the Article 25. The next case is the Priyanka Shukla versus the state of Uttar Pradesh case in the year 2020. In this case, Allahabad High Court ruled that conversion solely for marriage is not at all acceptable. Added to that, it also held that conversion must be for genuine religious reasons and not for any personal gains. And the last case is the Hadia case of 2018. In this case, the Supreme Court upheld that the right to choose one's religion is their choice. It set aside the Kerala High Court's invalidation of Hadia's conversion and marriage. These are the three important cases with respect to the anti-conversion law. On the whole, the Uttar Pradesh anti-conversion bill is a complex and a controversial legislation. It aims to prevent forced conversion. It raises concerns about its impact on individual rights, social harmony, and communal relations. This bill's success is dependent on its ability to address forced conversion while upholding the principle of equality, justice, and freedom enshrined in the Constitution. So that's it with respect to the discussion of this article. In this, we got a holistic view about what is this anti-conversion law, what are its provisions, and is there any similar laws in other states. We also saw what are the potential implications of this law, how it violates the fundamental rights and other concerns regarding it. We also saw three main positive impacts of this bill. And lastly, we concluded with three important cases with respect to the anti-conversion law. That's it. Here is a mains practice question with respect to the previous discussion. The question is, critically examine the provisions and implications of the Uttar Pradesh Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion Religious Act 2021. How does it balance individual freedom of religion with the need to prevent forced conversion? It's a 15-mark question. You have to write 250 words. And now let's move on to the next discussion. This editorial, A Fighting Chance, is given on the newspaper Indian Express. It discusses about the Bangladesh crisis that occurred recently. If we map this topic with the UPSC syllabus, it comes under the India and neighborhood relations. It also comes under the effect of policies and politics of developing countries on the India's interest. So let's understand why it is in the news first. Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has departure from her powers marks a critical moment for the Bangladesh. India must respect Bangladesh's self-determination while safeguarding its own interest, especially in preventing the instability that could affect the bilateral relations. The main reason for her departure was the reservation agitation in the Bangladesh. Let's see what is the background of this quota system. An initial policy at 1972 was introduced. According to this policy, 30% of seats was reserved for the government and non-government semi-government jobs for the freedom fighters. Also, 10% was reserved for the women. So, given here are the terms of Sheikh Hasina. In the year 1996 to 2001, this quota system was extended to the children of the freedom fighters. Subsequently, in the year 2009 to 2011, this quota system was also extended to the grandchildren of the freedom fighters. But in the year 2018, this quota system was totally abolished. From 2021 to 2023, petitioners challenged the abolition. This led to the reinstatement of the quota system on the July 1st, 2023. This reinstatement led to the recent protest which led to death of almost 100 persons, siege of Dhaka. The Sheikh Hasina government has imposed a curfew and an internet shutdown in response to the unrest. So this is the background of the quota system in the Bangladesh. Now let's see what are the root causes of this reservation agitation. Firstly, it is the inequality and the unfairness. This quota system is seen as giving an unfair advantage to descendants of the freedom fighters without considering merit or qualifications. The protesters are questioning the justification for extending these benefits to the third generation. So this is why the protesters are now calling for a merit-based requirement process. The second is the unemployment and stagnation. This reservation system has resulted in a large number of highly qualified individuals being unemployed, leading to a widespread discontent and frustration. Thirdly, it is the corruption and abuse. Allegation of corruption and misuse within the quota system has reduced the public trust. This was also one of the main reasons for the protest. And lastly, it is the lack of meritocracy. The focus on quotas over the merit can undermine the equal opportunity. This can hinder the development of skilled and competent workforce. Now let's try to understand what is the trade relationship between the Bangladesh and India. We had a strong partnership under the Sheikh Hasina. She became the Prime Minister in the year 2009. Bangladesh and India have developed a strong relationship since then. So this partnership includes tackling anti-India terrorist group in Bangladesh and enhancing the economic, social and cultural ties. So what will be the impact of Sheikh Hasina exit recently? It can lead to trade disruption. It can also delay the potential free trade agreement. Now let's see what are some key figures with respect to the bilateral trade between India and Bangladesh. See, Bangladesh is the India's largest trading partner in South Asia. India is the second largest trade partner in Asia after China. A total bilateral trade reached about $13 billion in the financial year 2023 to 24. So what are the major imports and exports between India and the Bangladesh? So from India to Bangladesh, cotton is a major export which constitutes about 35% of India's total cotton export. So the other products include petroleum as well as cereals. From Bangladesh to India, ready-made garments are exported, which accounts for about $391 million in the financial year 2024. Bangladesh has become a significant global player in case of textiles. Previously, we mentioned about the free trade agreement. Now let's see what it is. So actually in October 2023, India and Bangladesh began discussing the FTA during a joint working group meeting in Dhaka. What are the potential benefits of this FTA? It can reduce the custom duties of the traded goods. It can also promote the trade and investment between the two countries. A full FTA could boost Bangladesh export to India by 182% and a partial FTA can increase exports by 134%. But since the current government went into the chaos, it is highly uncertain how FTA plans will proceed with the interim Bangladesh government or its successors. Till now, we saw what is the Bangladesh crisis right now and the reservation agitation with respect to this crisis. We also saw what are the root causes for this reservation agitation in Bangladesh. While discussing about the India and Bangladesh relationship, we saw what are the major important exported items and the value of it. We also discussed what is the FTA agreement. Now we will try to understand what are some important infrastructure and connectivity developments. First is the line of credit. Since 2016, India has extended 3 lines of credit to Bangladesh, which totals up to $8 billion. So this funding supports the development of road, rail, shipping and port infrastructure. Some recent projects are Akaura-Agartala cross-border rail link. It is the 6th cross-border rail link between India and Bangladesh. It aims to enhance tourism, trade and people-to-people exchanges. Next is the Khulna-Mongla port link. Further strengthens the connectivity and trade opportunities. Added to this, there are many bus routes such as Kolkata to Dhaka, Agartala to Dhaka and Guwahati to Dhaka. Talking about the port usage agreement, in 2023, India and Bangladesh agreed to use the Chittagong and Mongla ports. This agreement aims to simplify cargo movement between the mainland India and the northeast region. With this, we'll conclude the discussion for this article. And now let's see a main question with respect to this article. The question is, analyze the implication of Sheikh Hasina's departure from power on the political and economic stability of Bangladesh. Discuss how this transition could affect India-Bangladesh relations, considering India's interest and the broader regional context. It's a 15-mark question. You have to answer for about 250 words. You can write the answers and post in the comment section. Our team will review for you. We have come to end of today's discussion. If you found the video informative, do hit like, give your feedbacks at comment, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.